Hello folks, there's an issue with both of this cow's back feet. I've already blocked this back right foot for a minor white line defect, but this back left foot is certainly the major problem. And my assistant today is Brian. So as you can see, there's a massive difference between both of these claws. This here is starting to separate up at the heel, and this here's a couple of layers of hoof, so we'll take them away together if we can to speed this up. But she had an issue on this back right foot as well, but it is a little minor white line defect which I've blocked. This here is certainly more of a sole issue, but all these here layers of hoof need to come off, and they're linked right the way back up to here. So a little bit of dermatitis has got in there. So we've got this here cleaned up quite well, a lot of hoof layers off it. This inevitably, like you all probably know, needs a block. So there is a bit of height difference now between both claws, but obviously not enough for this is a significant issue. So I'm just going to check around that heel, that's all good to take a block. So let's get this cleaned down and get a block on. Brian has got me a rubber block which isn't going to actually wear at all, so it's going to give maximum height difference to this for as long as the block stays on. So it probably will need to come off in around 2 months maximum, but for the whole 2 month duration that this block's on, it will have a height difference of an inch or two there, which is really going to, if I put on a block that would wear away, the height difference would be getting smaller and smaller each week as this wore away. So I want to keep a big height difference to allow this here ulcer to heal. There's still another little bit of strip off this. This is some detached hoof here, skin up at the top of the heel, so that's another hoof layer that we need to deal with now. And I've got a little hoover here, hoovering up all the pieces of loose horn that I take off. Handy little cordless hoover, doesn't even have a battery. It's good whenever the farmer can get his cows trimmed and his dog fed in the same process. You can maybe see the slight little darkness here. That's we're getting down to the bottom of this layer now. Any moment now we'll get into that next layer and get it removed. Obviously it takes a little bit of patience at this stage. Too much. We are very close to the corium, as you can just see there, but that all needs to come away. taking away this bit of loose horn here, it has exposed an extra little bit of height here, which we need to just take away with the grinder. For all you folks that like a little close-up, that is the final. The corium has protruded out a little bit there, if you can see from that angle. It's a little bit risen. It's a little bit protruded out of the sole. So I just need to trim that little bit in. I just need to trim that little bit of loose horn to the right of that. Trim off the edges and get this bandaged up. This here is actually the cow's live tissue, so I'm just trimming the loose horn from in and around that. Need to deal with this top of this. We've nearly joined this up at the top here now, so we're getting there slowly but surely. And one close up of that injured corium before we cover it up with a nice comfortable wrap. So there's that little area of corium that had been pushed out through the hoof. I had to remove the loose horn below it, so it's not going to be jagging into it anymore. So I'm going to leave that now, and I've seen it loads of times when it's bandaged and the weight's off it, it can shrink back in with no pressure on it. Cows aren't always the most patient when you're trying to help them. Things don't always go right, but we'll have another go at that. Let's get this patient little client, well, patient until it took two times to put the bandage on, but anyway, we'll forgive her for that. Let's get her out of the crush and see what difference we've made. It's great having dogs around, but I'm always afraid of letting the crush down on top of them, so I always take a little check to see that they're safe and well before I let this thing down. The last thing you would want to see is a few paws sticking out this side. Come on, Gert. She's bearing some nice weight on that hoof, considering how significantly sore it is. It's got an instant rest. Anyway, we'll let her get a well-deserved snack in a little bit of comfort. Time for the next cow, folks, and time for me to say goodbye to you. All the best. We'll see you all on the next one.